Today I want to talk about how you can create your own amazing sci-fi manga, comic, or light novel. The word sci-fi stands for science fiction, so it might focus on unique scientific concepts, technology, and futuristic aspects, including things like space travel or aliens or robots. My first tip is reveal a problem that forces your characters to explore. One of the main concepts of science fiction is that in a science fiction world, you'll usually be presenting an entirely different universe to your audience. So in order for you to be able to fully reveal that unique world to your audience, it's important to give your characters a problem that they need to solve, and the only way they can solve the problem is through them traversing this world you have created and using these technological aspects to get things done. So in the very beginning of your story, once you have introduced the characters and the main setting, you need to really bring in a problem that forces your characters to need to explore more of the science fiction world you have created in order to resolve this problem and figure out a solution to it. The second tip is create a cast of unique characters that suit the world you have created. In some cases, the science fiction is more in the technology and the scientific aspects to it, so there may not be any more unique characters. You may not be presenting aliens or supernatural characters in your story, and instead be focusing on it more with a cast of human characters who are able to use technology and futuristic aspects to explore new unique concepts and present those concepts to your audience. However, if your story is going to be something which does feature more supernatural themes, or if your characters are going to be exploring space locations, then you may be presenting new alien characters or robots or other creatures that may exist in the science fiction universe you have created. So, to answer this question, you really need to look at the story you're telling and think about what kind of cast of characters would be able to present that story in the best possible way. If you are creating a cast of just human characters, then you need to consider what roles they have in your story. There may be someone who works as a medic, for example. There might be a medic, there might be someone who flies the ship, there might be someone who's an explorer, there might be someone who's really good at conversing in different languages in the universe as well, if there are different languages of different alien species, for example. Now, if your science fiction story focuses more on aliens, cyborgs, androids, monsters, or other creatures that may exist in the galaxy in your world, then you may need to come up with a balance of having some human characters and also having some of those characters as well. In order to keep things balanced, these characters also need to have roles similar to the human characters I mentioned before, whether that be medical abilities, abilities to fight in battles maybe, abilities to explore or fly the ship, or science aspects where they're able to repair technology. My third tip is develop designs that reflect scientific elements. This is especially important when you're creating a science fiction manga or a comic. The designs and the setting you show will be one of the most important and powerful aspects. And in some of the most powerful science fiction manga, you will notice that their pages are filled with really beautiful illustrations of different settings and locations, or characters with unique designs. When you're creating new characters for your science fiction world, it's important to consider how they would look in their appearance and how you would present that appearance to your audience. In doing this, I recommend looking at each character and considering what they would need in their design in order to work well in the story and get things done throughout the story. For your human characters, maybe they would need something like an oxygen tank. If oxygen is not something that is easy for them to find in space, maybe they need to carry it around with them more easily. For other characters, maybe they need something that would help them to propel themselves through areas where there might be low gravity. For alien characters, maybe some atmospheres are a bit hard for them to be in, so maybe they need to wear a certain outfit or have a certain item that can really help them in these situations. As you consider this with their design, you might want to create a sketch of your character and continue to add to it as you are developing their design so you can better understand how your character looks and what they really need in their design in order to help them throughout the story. Please keep in mind that this applies to any aspect of your science fiction world, whether it be creating new locations in your story or whether it be creating a particular type of setting. Each setting needs to be considered in the context of your science fiction world, and you can always start from basic sketches first and then build it up as you add more details. My fourth tip is understand how the science fiction elements affect the world. You need to consider what type of futuristic world do you want to show to your audience. And in many cases, science fiction stories put a focus on a dystopian world or something like that, or a post-apocalyptic world where a bad event has happened and then the characters are trying to rebuild their society after this bad event. You really need to consider what type of science fiction world you are wanting to express to your audience. Whether it's a world where things are quite peaceful and all the characters are getting along and the world seems peaceful and calm, or maybe more of a world where difficult events have happened and there's still difficult moments, but the characters are trying to work through these events. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, I want to invite you to my brand new course all about how to create incredible fictional worlds in your manga, comic, or light novel. This program is filled with aspects to help you create amazing worlds every time, no matter what kind of story you're creating, and whichever medium you are creating it in. The course is filled with over 30 lessons and a variety of templates and planners designed to help you apply the techniques to your book to take your fictional worlds to the next level. If you want to learn all the details about how you can create incredible science fiction characters, how you can develop that cast and make them realistic for the world, how you can develop new alien characters or different races in your story, how you can create environments and ecosystems, develop towns and settings and societies, build a map and create new unique locations throughout your book, then this is the course for you and I'd love to have you come on board. If you want to learn more about this special program, make sure to visit my website MidnightXCross.com to see all of the details, or you can check out the link in the description below. My fifth tip is integrate the science fiction elements into the main point of the story. As I was talking about before, the science fiction elements can be small things or bigger things in your story. It could be something like the currency, for example. Maybe the currency in this world is something that's very different from our current currency. Or maybe the way your characters work or move around the world or have transportation or their hobbies or their interests. All of these seem like small things to us, but if you want to develop a really interesting science fiction world, then these little things are what will really make your story even more powerful. It will make it feel realistic when you consider all the little things your characters will need to do in their daily lives and how it might look in the world that you have created. If your world is a very dystopian world, maybe a lot of these elements are very different. Maybe your characters have very different jobs to the jobs that there might be now. Maybe your characters have to live in certain ways in order to survive in this world if this world is really dangerous. Next tip is put your own unique spin on science fiction. When you think of science fiction shows or movies, there's various aspects that you may consider as your first thought. You might think of characters who travel through space on a spaceship. You might think of characters who might be aliens. You might think of characters who are cyborgs or androids. So, even though you can apply these techniques to your story, I highly recommend that you think of at least one main aspect that is unique to your story. And it could be the setting, for example, or your character's main purpose in the story, the way your character looks, the setting or the theme of the world, or any of those kinds of things. It's up to you which aspect you make unique, and keep in mind that it doesn't have to be a big thing that's unique, but just adding one small unique thing will really help your story to stand out in its genre and help you to get more readers for your book. My seventh tip is give your characters a goal worth fighting for. Powerful goals are incredibly important, and this, I believe, is even more so important when you're creating a science fiction story. Usually in a science fiction story, the elements and the world and the setting around your characters will likely be extremely different from our world, sometimes even way more dangerous. And so if you're creating an even more dangerous world for your characters to be in, this means that any goals you give them will need to be even more important and dire to your characters if the character is going to continue persisting towards it. So when you are creating your character's goals and the main purpose of the story, ask yourself why they really desperately need to achieve this goal. And when you understand what your character is fighting for and why they need to achieve this, it will make their goal even more important, and it will also make it more realistic when they traverse this world you have created in order to achieve that goal. My eighth tip is focus on the little details. In your science fiction story, it's likely that there will be new technology or devices that don't exist here. And these little unique details are things that can actually stand out a lot when you are telling your story. So if you're creating a manga, it might be easier to show these small little devices as your character is moving around. Maybe they wear a certain device, or maybe they wear special goggles that make them see things differently. Maybe they carry things around. So consider how this might look when you are presenting your characters in the world. This is the same case for a light novel as well. You would be describing and showing these devices through the words you write. By considering these little things, little technology or details, it can help to really amplify that futuristic setting and really show your audience what kind of new devices and technology exist in the world you have created. Finally, my ninth tip is consider social, economic, or health problems that exist and are unique to your world. I feel like this is one of the most important aspects to creating a good science fiction story, and I also feel like it's one of the most overlooked aspects, so this is why I really want to talk about it in this video. Keep in mind that in any world you create, there will always be at least one of these issues. There may be social issues, there may be economic issues, there may be health problems as well. And this creates a world that is realistic and believable to your audience. This is why when creating a science fiction story which reveals futuristic elements or new technology, in order to make it feel believable and understandable to your audience, it can be helpful to balance it out with these aspects in order to help your audience relate it to maybe current moments in our time. Because even in our world now, there are still social, economic, or health problems. So even if a world is set in the future, there may be aspects that still the characters may struggle with, or the people in the setting may also struggle with, even if these problems are still different. One example I'd like to use is in the story Detroit Become Human, where the androids are looked down upon as being less than the human characters because they are androids and they are machines. That is an example of a social problem that may exist even in your world. Or in economic issues, maybe there's certain characters in your world, in your futuristic world, where some have access to this high technology and other characters don't have access to that technology. There may also be health problems where in your futuristic world, there may be new diseases that don't exist in our current world, or characters with certain health concerns that may arise from certain futuristic aspects like traveling in space for too long or going through different futuristic situations. In order to make your story believable and understandable to your audience, it's important to think about what kinds of social, economic, or health problems may exist or arise in your world, and how your characters may overcome those issues to become stronger as characters and to connect better with the characters around them. Thank you so much for watching my video today, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know what kind of science fiction stories you're creating because I'd really love to hear about it. If you want to take your science fiction world building to the next level, please check out my full-length world building program with over 30 lessons and a variety of planners and templates designed to help you take your science fiction worlds to the next level. If you want to learn more about this special program, make sure to visit the link in the description below for all of the details. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video.